Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of the Learn Linux with Space program by Diary of Hackers. Today is the last day of the training, so we'll just try to quickly go over the remaining things in our outline. Then we'll do some questions on the poll and we'll close up the training altogether. So before we start today's session, I got 2 questions earlier this morning on the group chat. So we'll go over the questions, then we'll look at tools installation and process management. So the question I got, I think the first one is, how do you limit the number of users you can add to a group? And second question is, how do you limit the sudo rights a user has? So let's say a user belongs to the sudo group, we want to limit the commands they can run. So we are going to be looking at those 2 scenarios. So I'll open up my terminal and we'll get started. Now the first question says, how do you limit the number of users you can add to a group? So when we were talking about adding user to a group yesterday, for you to add a user to the group, you must have administrative privileges. That means you must have the sudo privilege. So to add a user to a group, what we did was sudo user mod, then this the group and the user. So you must have this administrative privilege to add a user to a group. So get over to an effective way to go over with that is to limit the number of users with sudo privileges. So in your organization, let's say instead of giving every user you have sudo privileges, you can give some few people sudo privileges, then those people be able to add users to groups and stuff. So that way you can limit the number of users you can add to a group if you have lesser people with those privileges. Then the second question, how to limit the number of commands a sudo user can use. So presently, this user I'm running as belongs to the sudo group and can run any command. So to check all the commands you can run as sudo, you can use the command sudo l and it will show all the command you can run. Presently, it shows I can run all commands as all users. So what we are going to be looking at is how to change this. So we'll limit the number of commands a particular user can use. So let's just create a new user. So let's say we'll create a new user and call the user DOH. Let me call it DOH user. Then we add the user to, let's add the user to sudo. Okay. So now we do id DOH user. You can see this user is now part of the sudo group. And let's try to update password for that user. So let's do passwd DOH user. Ooh, I have to use sudo. Then I'll just give it a password of password. Okay. So now we'll switch user to the DOH user, and if we do ID, you can see that it belongs to the sudo group. Now if we do sudo L again, we'll see that this user can also run all commands. That means this user can run all commands the root user can also run. So what we'll do is we'll limit the commands this user can run. So we'll limit the command the people in the sudo group can run altogether. To do that, the command we use is vi sudo. So you can check the function of the command by using man vi sudo, and it says we can edit the sudo as file. So what we'll do is use the command vi sudo, and we must have privilege. So we'll do sudo vi sudo, and now we can see the file. So the command we saw earlier was coming from this line where we have all, then all. That means all allow members of group sudo to execute any command. So to limit the number of commands they can run, we can comment out this line by putting a hash symbol in front of it. So I'm in V. Let me quickly exit, then change this to nano Okay, I think it's better now. Now, just being in start mode. Yes, I can do this now. So to limit the commands they can run, let's say people in the we want people in the sudo group to run specified commands. So we want them to run only cat command or run ls command or run a specific command as root. What we can do is change this line to, let's say now we have sudo, then we'll specify the command we want them to run. So instead of letting them run all commands, you can say if you want them to run just cat, you can say you want them to run bin cat. Now if we save this, so I said the command is vi sudo, so we do sudo vi sudo, and this the default editor is v, so I don't use v often, so don't blame me for the mess I'm just doing. So we want the DOH user we just created to be able to run just the cat command instead. So we don't want the user to be able to run all commands. So we can specify the username. The user is DOH user. We want this user to be able to run just the cat command, if I get that correctly. So I will try to save this. We don't get any error messages, so I will switch user to that user, and now if we run sudo l again, you can see that this user can run all then being cat. So we have to remove this particular, we'll move this one so the user cannot run all commands. So we'll go back to vi sudo and we'll comment out this line. So I'll enter insert mode, then comment out this line. Now we save the file and switch user to this user again. I just do su, I'm not in context. And now ID, we are still in the sudo group. Whenever we run the sudo l command, you can see that this user can only run this command as root. So we can try to do sudo. By default, if we try to cut the shadow file, like I said yesterday, we get the permission denied. But now we can try to use sudo cat etc shadow, and now we are able to run the cat command running as the root user. So we'll try to run another command as root and see if we can do that. So let's try to run any other command as root, like let's say touch, for example. So let's say we want to do sudo touch new file, and you get an error saying this user is not allowed to execute this command, and that's because the only command we specify this user to be able to run is the cat command. So I hope that answers the question. So using the vi sudo, you can specify which command you want the user to run. So what we want to talk about majorly today is tools installation and process management. So to install a new tool, let's say you have a new tool you want to install, the default package manager for Debian-based system like the Kali Linux, Ubuntu is the apt. So to install a new tool, you must have administrative privileges. So you can do sudo apt install, then the package name. So the syntax is just sudo apt install and the package name you want to install. And to know what the apt command is doing, you can use man apt and you can read all the options it has. So to install a tool, it is sudo apt install, then the package you want to install. And if you are not sure of the package name, it has other options like search. You can search for the package name. So you can do sudo apt search, then the package. So let's say I want to search for the mmap command. I can do sudo apt search mmap, and it's going to try to look through the repo and give me everything that matches the search query. So that's how we can install tools. You can search for tools and install them. What about the question on limiting group members? I said that when we started, for you to be able to add, for a user to be able to belong to a group, it must be added by someone who has administrative privileges, someone that can run sudo. So an effective way to limit the number of people that can belong to a group is to limit the number of people that has access to do it. So if only the root user can add people to group, that way you can limit the people you have in a group. That's an effective way to do it. And I think there's another way to do it using the group add command. I think it has an option to specify members. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So there's an option in this group add that has a max members per group, and you can set that. But you can set it using this way, but a more effective way is to limit the number of people that can add users to group. Is there a way to see all commands a sudo can run in all modes to know which one to give it? Yeah, that's what we did earlier. To see all the commands you can run as sudo, just use the command sudo then -l. It's going to show you all the commands you can run. Since we have all here and all, that means you can run all commands. But if you have specific commands you can run, it's going to be shown here instead of giving you all. Then I should repeat the search command to install. Okay, let's take for example, I want to install a tool with the name mmap. I can do sudo apt apt install mmap. But in a case whereby I'm not sure of the tool name, I can try to search the repository first if it exists. So I can do apt search, then give it the name, and it's going to return a list of packages that matches the name you gave it, and you can go through that and see the exact one you want. But if you know the exact name of the tool you want to install, just go ahead and do apps install, then give it the package name, and it should install if it's in the repository. Then to remove a package to, the syntax is similar, just sudo apps, then purge, and give it the name of the tool you want to remove. That's what we'll be looking at on tool installation. The last thing we'll be looking at before we go to our pool is process management. So process management, we know what a process is. It's a job in progress. So if you want to check all the processes running on a system, what we can do is to use a very simple command, and the command is ps. So like we said earlier, you can just use man ps to check what the command is doing, and the command reports a snapshot of the current processes. So to check what the current process is running on the system, just use the command ps, and it's going to give you this listing instruction. So you can look up the switches, switches ps aux, and it's going to show you more outputs. So let's say you have a particular process running and you want to kill that process. You can use the command q 9. I think 9 is for seek kill. You can read the manual and give it the process ID rather, like 78 something. So you can check process using the ps command, and you can, let me try to go to the top here. Let me just pass it to something else. Now we have the user running the process, we have the PID. So in a case whereby you want to kill that process, you can use the kill command and pass it the PID of the process to kill it. Okay, great. Let's start. So there are about 10 questions. The first question on the pool is, which of the following commands allows you to check the manual of a given command? Your time starts now. Five seconds. One. Okay. And the command is man. So everyone got it correctly. That's nice. So we'll move to the next one. So the next question is, in Linux, everything is a file. True or false? Your time starts now. 1 second. And yeah, so the result is true. So everyone also got that correctly. So we'll move to the next one. And the next question is, which of the following commands will show the groups a user, DOH user belongs to? The time starts now. You have less than 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, so groups DOH user group. So let's just confirm this real quick. To know the groups a user belongs to, we can run that from our terminal. So we know the groups command is valid, but to check the groups the DOH user belongs to, we can use groups, then give it the username. So the command is groups DOH user, and that's the right answer. So continue. Let's continue. Then which of the following cannot be used to view the contents of a file? Which of the following cannot be used to view the contents of the file? Time starts now. Eight, and about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Yeah, I think everybody got that correctly. We can use touch to create a file and not review the content of the file. So good job. Let's continue. The next question is, what is the key combination to exit out of the nano editor? What is the key combination to exit out of the nano editor? Time starts now. In about 10 seconds. 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Yeah, the answer to exit of the nano editor, the key combination is Control X. Control O is to save in the nano editor. So let's quickly confirm that. I'll open up my terminal. So if we have a file open, if you check here, the Control O is going to write out. So it's going to save the file. Control X is the command to exit out of the file. So to exit out of the nano editor, the command is Control X, not Control O. Control O will just save the file. Okay, so moving on. The next question is, what does this symbol, the third symbol, what does it represent? The time starts now. You have about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so everyone got that correctly. The symbol represents the default user's home directory. Good job. So we'll continue. Which of the following commands can you use to rename a file? Your time starts now. About 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So the answer is MV. Yes. To rename a file, we talked about file permissions and management. To rename a file, the command is MV. Move is not a valid command. Copy is not a valid command. So to rename a file, it is MV. So we can continue. Should be almost done. So the next question, convert the file permission rw dash r dash 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 to its decimal representation. Your time starts now. You have about 5 more seconds. And nobody responded. Okay, let's go. And 90% chose 640. Yeah, that's correct. We know we have RW. We said read is 4, write is 2, then execute is 1. So RW, that's 4 plus 2, that's 6. Then R is just 4. And the last one is empty, which is 0. So the decimal representation of this permission is 640. Then moving on, another question, which command can you use to execute a command as another user? Which command can you use to execute a command as another user? Time starts now. Uh, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Uh, the correct answer is sudo. So if you use man sudo, let's check that quickly. So we use the command man sudo. It says the command allows you to execute a command as another user. So the correct answer for that is sudo. Then the su command allows you to switch user. So su is just short for switch user. It does not allow you to run a command as another user. You switch to that user directly. Then if you are coming from the Windows environment, it is run as. So on Linux, the command is sudo. But if you're on Windows, the command is run as. So I want to believe the person that chose run as is coming from a Windows environment. But we are on Linux, so the command is sudo. So let's continue. I think the should be the last one. Which command can be used to edit the sudo as file? Which command can be used to edit the sudo as file? The time starts now. About 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. And that should be an easy one. I hope to see everybody get it correctly. The command to edit sudo file is what we talked about some few minutes ago. To edit sudo file, use the command vi sudo, not nano sudo, not change sudo. The command is vi sudo. So that's the end of the poll. Thank you guys for participating. So we'll look at a few more things. So now we are at the closing discussion. So once again, I want to appreciate everyone for taking our time to participate in the training, and we hope we have learned one or two things during the training altogether. Then the certificate will be ready in a couple of hours from now, and you'll be notified accordingly on the group chat. So that's all for the training. We are happy to have taken part in this, and we hope you have learned one thing or the other, and we hope to see you in our subsequent programs. So once again, Thank you, everyone. You can reach out to us via our website, diaryofhackers.com. You can follow us on Twitter as Diary of Hackers. You can join our Telegram group, t.me/Diary of Hackers, and you can reach out to any one of us via this phone number. The first one is for Moses, the second one is for Sam, and the third one is mine. So you can reach out to any one of us if you have any questions. So once again, we have come to the end of the training. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for creating time. And we hope we see you in our coming programs. Bye.